The phone rang at exactly 2 in the morning. I already knew it was my mother. She's the only person who treats sleep as a suggestion rather than a necessity.
No greeting.
No apology for the hour. Just her voice, sharp and rehearsed. Tomorrow, you'll join your brother's fiancé's family for dinner. Keep your mouth shut. I sat up in the dark and asked why. Why the warning attached to what should have been a simple invitation? She snapped back instantly, like she'd been waiting for the question. Her father is a decorated colonel. Don't embarrass us. I let those words settle, feeling their familiar weight, the shape of being treated as a liability instead of a daughter. I smiled into the darkness, even though she couldn't see it, and said, "Got it." Then I hung up and lay back down, staring at the ceiling, wondering what exactly I was capable of embarrassing anyone with. My brother Holden had been engaged for 3 months to a woman named Vivian, daughter of a man my family only ever referred to in hushed, reverent tones.
Colonel Bennett Whitfield. Decorated.
Respected. The kind of man whose name alone seemed to straighten spines. I'd never met him. I'd barely met Vivian, twice, both times under 20 minutes, both times with my mother hovering like a stage manager, terrified I'd improvise a line not in the script. I wasn't offended. I was used to it. In my family, I'd long been cast as the unpredictable one, the embarrassment in waiting, simply because I didn't live the life they'd mapped out. No husband. No corner office. No Pinterest-worthy home. Just me, my apartment, and a quiet job nobody at family dinners ever bothered asking about. The dinner was held at a private event space downtown, low gold lighting, a string quartet tucked into a corner like polite furniture. I arrived in a simple navy dress, hair pulled back, nothing flashy. Flashy was its own kind of embarrassment in my mother's rule book. "Hello," he said, voice low but caring, the kind trained to fill rooms without raising itself. "I'm surprised to see you here." He tilted his head slightly, studying me the way you study something you're trying to place from a long time ago. Then quieter, almost like he already suspected the answer would unravel something he wasn't prepared to unravel publicly. "Who are you to them?" The string quartet had stopped. Nobody had told them to. The room fell dead silent, long enough that I could hear ice shifting in someone's glass 3 tables away. My mother's face had gone the color of the tablecloth, mouth slightly open like she was trying to remember how words worked. Holden looked between us like he was watching 2 unrelated movies get spliced together by mistake. I set my own glass down carefully, because my hands were steadier than I expected them to be, and looked Colonel Whitfield directly in the eye. "I'm Amber," I said. "Holden's sister." It wasn't the answer he was asking for, and we both knew it. He almost smiled, the corner of his mouth twitching like a man enjoying a private joke he wasn't ready to share yet. "Captain Amber Reyes," he said, slow and deliberate, using a name I hadn't heard spoken out loud at a family function in over 6 years. A rank my own mother had never once acknowledged existed. "Forward operations 3 years ago. You briefed my unit before the extraction in the Eastern Corridor. You're the reason 11 of my men came home instead of 7. The colonel turned to address the room, his voice carrying the same authority it had during his toast, except now it had weight behind it that hadn't been there before. "I don't embarrass easily," he said. "But I'll tell you what has embarrassed me, watching a family undervalue someone who's earned more respect in this room than half the medals on my chest." He looked at my mother when he said it, not unkindly but without softening it either. The way men who've spent decades giving honest assessments under pressure tend not to know how to do anything else. My mother opened her mouth to respond, found nothing there, and closed it again. For the first time in my entire life, I watched her run out of script. Holden found me afterward near the quiet end of the room, away from the murmuring and the recalibrated stares. He didn't apologize in big dramatic terms, just stood there for a second, then asked quietly why I'd never told him. I told him the truth, that there hadn't seemed to be room for it, that the version of me everyone had agreed on didn't leave space for the real one to exist. He nodded slowly, the way people do when they're absorbing something they should have asked about years earlier, and said he was proud of me, the first time I think either of us had said those words between us and meant them. My mother found me near the coat check as I was leaving. Her composure rebuilt, but thinner now, like a wall patched in a hurry. She started to say something about how I should have told her, how she would have handled the dinner differently, and I just shook my head because that was exactly the problem. My worth in her eyes had always depended on what I could offer to be seen, never on simply being her daughter. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. I just said goodnight and walked out into the cold air, feeling lighter than I had in years. The kind of light that comes from finally letting a room see you as you actually are, instead of who you'd quietly agreed to pretend to be. If this story hit home for you, hit that subscribe button and join us for more, because the truth always finds its way to the surface, no matter how long someone tries to keep it buried.